YUSUF, great to have you join us on the conversation this morning. Now, 2 days ago, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu saw in General Christopher Musa as the country's Minister of Defense in a major push to restructure the country's security architecture. Now, Musa's swearing-in took place at the presidential villa in Abuja, the nation's capital, on Thursday, a day after the 5-hour screening by members of the Senate, leading to Musa's confirmation. Of course, it has generated a lot of reaction, with many Nigerians expressing their optimism that Musa's emergence at the helm in the Ministry of Defense will bring succor to the country and put an end to the menace of kidnapping, banditry, and terrorism, given that he has been on the front line for many years and also rising to the level of Chief of Defense Staff. So, addressing pressmen after the short event in the President's office, Musa promised to secure Nigeria, asking for support from the citizens of the country. He assured that is assured of his results soon in the country's push to tackle insecurity. This was General Musa speaking before members of the Senate before his confirmation and eventual swearing-in by the President on Thursday. Take a listen.
Mr. President, sir, distinguished senators, let me start from the last one, sir. The issue of kidnapping of students, very unfortunate. But I think since last year, the Safe School initiative was carried out. I think we need to look at it critically and make sure that it is holistic in its approach. Now, we must build the resilience of our communities because crime is localized. We're able to build the capacity of the locals themselves to be the first responder, because when they come, since security agencies cannot be everywhere, it's good we build them. Our schools must be secured. You see, most of the schools that have been built, you go and visit them, no perimeter fence, they are left exposed. Information conveyance, again, has been an issue. Before these informations are relayed, the use of technology. So, sir, we're going to make sure that we do a whole of society approach into addressing this issue of kidnapping of school. With technology, working together with the armed forces, the police, and other security agencies, and the communities. I think that's where the gap has been. We will be able to address that properly. I'll be able to also secure these children and to stop issues of kidnapping all over the country. Distinguished Senator Ahmed Lawan, sir, thank you very much, sir. I think one basic area we're also going to look at is accountability of the armed forces. Whatever funds has been made, we want to make sure that the funds are properly utilized. We don't carry the communities along. We're going to continue to run in issues. So that's why it's important that we must bring them together, working with the state governors particularly. Why the Southwest seem to be doing very well, sir, is because all the governors agreed together. And that's why regionally, governors must come together, because 2, 3 are better than 1. And that's why for us to them to understand that the bandits do not respect border. They do not at all. They are, in fact, where they get their strength is their ability to run when you attack them, especially around Sokoto area. They enter Niger. And once they get to Niger, you can't touch them until they come back in. And that's why I said it's important that for the multinational joint task force in N'Djamena, we need to also build up their capacity to hold up down towards the border with Mali and Burkina Faso, because we're beginning to have those, and that's why we're having those incursions into Kwara coming down southwest. And we must stop them not to get further than that. I think action has already been done and put in place. It is for us to harmonize all this.
Yeah, the chief of the new Minister of Defense, former Chief of Defense Staff, the General Christopher Musa, speaking so eloquently, also outlining his plans as he takes over of the Defense Ministry in the country. Speaking about porous borders, accountability for the armed forces in terms of budgeting, and also ensuring that they bring the communities on board in fighting insecurity. Also made very key points about ensuring collaboration at the sub-national level, referencing the Southwest as well, with governors coming together to form a tech. When he says, that also can be replicated, in different parts of the country as well. So a lot to unpack from, General Musa's statement, and also a lot to expect from him as well. I think expectations are high on the part of Nigerians. Meanwhile, the Nigeria Labour Congress yesterday warned that it would no longer watch helplessly as criminal gangs unleashed terror across the country, vowing to declare a national day of mourning and also mobilize for nationwide protest over the worsening insecurity in Nigeria. This was made known at the opening of the National Executive Council meeting in in Lagos of the NLC yesterday, where the NLC president, Joe Ajaero, said Nigeria was under siege, lamenting the latest school kidnapping and the withdrawal of security personnel before the attack. He demanded a full investigation to uncover possible compromise within the security system. So we have a Labour man in the house this morning is Comrade Emmanuel Ogundiro, a former chairman of the Trade Union Congress CUC here in Oyo State. Thank you for joining us. Good morning, Comrade.
My pleasure to join you on this discourse. Thank you.
Great to have you. And as you know, it's a panel discussion. We have two panelists in the house that will be asking you questions and also commenting as the conversation progresses. Let me start with Barrister Yomi Ogunla. Barrister, good morning. Great to have you.
Yes, Toba, good morning.
And
My noble professor, good morning.
Yes, let me also welcome Prof.
I greet our Labour man too. Of course, good morning, Nigeria.
Yeah. Let me welcome Prof as well, Professor Remi Ayede, Department of Political Science, University of Ibadan. Prof, good morning, sir.
Yeah, good morning. It's a pleasure to be here, and good morning to my barrister, and then, of course, good morning to our guests and Nigerians.
All right, Comrade Ogundiro, I mean, there are those who would say the NLC is speaking up rather too late because, you know, this has been a recurring issue for the last couple of months. And we saw what happened in Niger State, in, you know, pretty much in the northern part of the country, even in the north central as well, with schools being the target of this criminal element. And there are those who say the primary responsibility of government is to ensure protection of lives and property in the country. And if the government is not doing that, pressure groups like labor unions should have spoken up, not waited till this moment. So I'd like you to get your take on that. And also this plan to have a day of national mourning and also a nationwide protest against the persistent insecurity in the country.
Yeah, thank you very much. I made this remark on so many platforms in the last 2 days since the NLC release. I said they have overslept. Rather than being proactive, the Nigeria Labour Congress is being reactive. But the Trade Union Congress has not even said anything. You see, this thing started with some of their members. I remember that when it was first starting, it was the head of service of, was it Osun or Ekiti State, that was kidnapped. Thereafter, some workers had been kidnapped, students have been kidnapped. In fact, of recent, 6 directors of the Ministry of Defense were kidnapped, all females, out of which only 4 had been released. So, these are issues, although the Nigerian government, they had said something even while I was in office that if it does not concern our members, that is the Nigerian workers, that we shouldn't bother to actually trouble them. But because workers are involved, students are involved, I think the labor movement, let me be using that, should have reacted long time ago. Maybe if the labor movement have reacted in conjunction with the civil society and civil liberty organizations, maybe it might not have gotten to this. But unfortunately, the Nigerian factor came in. I don't know why. When I was a full soldier, we will have written to the National Labor Centers on this. Is there anything we can do? What can we plan? We give them suggestions, and these are the way we do it then.
Right.
So, as he said, and I've said too, it's coming a little bit late, but better late than never.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting that you made the point about the NLC, sleeping on this for too long. And many people ask, what do you think has happened to the labor union movement in the country over the years? Because I mean, we've read history books, we've heard stories of how vibrant the labor unions were, back even in the days of the military dictatorship, how vibrant they were, even when we didn't have this much insecurity. Because if the government is saying that if it doesn't concern your members, you should not agitate. But I mean, the people are also being targeted at teachers. People are also being targeted at workers in some sort. So ordinary people are being targeted, and they're also workers in the country. So one may wonder what has gone wrong with the labor union. What does it seem like they are not as effective as they used to be in those days?
Like I said, and you have repeated, if it doesn't concern our members, the government of the day, even the people, they don't expect labor movement to react. They've come again. But the fear of litigation is the beginning of wisdom for the labor movement. When we try to behave like we are part of the society and this, they have taken us to court. That when it concerns the generality of the people came out to vote for the executives and the legislators. So that we should leave it to them. People gave them their confidence that they are able to do it. But if it affects the working class, yes, that's when the labor movement can actually cry out, go on protest or strike. So that has limited, and when they do that, they won't take, because it is not issue pertaining to employer-employee relationship. They have taken the labor movement to civil courts. And we lost some cases. Some of us were persecuted then. So anything that will not go to industrial court, and you see that since the industrial court has come and the labor movement have been heading to the industrial court, we hardly lose cases because it is the trade union law, labor laws, the Nigerian constitution that be used in actually adjudicating the case. Unlike when it is the civil court, when they will use penal code, criminal code, and the constitution. So that has been the difference. And that's why I said maybe that is why the labor movement is being careful, but rather than being proactive, they are now becoming reactive, and it is not so good. So it's not. Once any of your members are involved, you have gotten the impetus to actually take it up.
So it's not the case of the labor union becoming weak under Joe Ajaero, because that's the way some Nigerians are seeing it. They feel like Joe Ajaero is not as effective as other past NLC leaders that we've seen in this country. How they stand toe to toe. Yes.
People that are not in his shoes would not know. There are certain things that you do. The political leaders and the ruling elites, there are, even now, even on this station, you see some paid agents of the political leaders. Those they give 20,000 naira for data and whatever. We know them. There are many monitoring the stations just to come against you that are hitting their paymasters. So there are a lot of them, and because they have the wherewithal, is free money that is being given to them. They continue to hit you, and people's opinion, it changes so fast. The more people talk on certain issue, the more a lot of people will be looking at their side, and that is what is going on. So a lot of them will be hitting the labor movement. What is their concern? Is it the workers that is concerned? Are they the only Nigeria that are working? There are other workers that are not in the union, and this and that. So there are issues that we've been seen to be tackling. So it is not so direct. If our members are not so involved, we are always being careful to come in. Right. Okay. So,
Comrade, please show that thought.
I think all those market men, market women, they are realizing the fact that the labor movement has a platform, a legal one, on which they can all come on. Because all this marketization and whatever, they don't have
Comrade, please show that thought, sir. Please show that thought, sir. We need to take this commercial break. When we get back, we'll continue the conversation right here on the podium. Do stay with us.
Happiness is a choice that we want you to make always. Choose to be happy. Choose 32 FM 94.9 Ibadan.
Kí ló ṣẹlẹ̀? Ó ga o, gbogbo ìgbà tí mo bá fi owó ránṣẹ́ tàbí gbowó wọlé, fíám, wọ́n kàn máa fa oríṣiríṣi owó yọ lọ́wọ́ mi ni. Owó àláàtì, owó ìfowóránṣẹ́ àti owó lórí pé mo san bíìlì pẹ̀lú. Mo kùn láàánú ènìyàn rárá o. Ṣé o ti gbọ́ pé pẹ̀lú Smart Cash, o lè fi owó ránṣẹ́ sí ilé ìfowópamọ́ mìíràn, san gbogbo bíìlì rẹ, kó dẹ̀ tún gba àláàtì, gbogbo rẹ̀ lọ́fẹ̀ẹ́. Kódà, wọ́n tún máa san ìdá 15% owó èlérí fún ẹ lórí owó tí o bá fi pamọ́ lọ́dún. Ṣé lóòótọ́? Àwẹ̀ fọ́nà mi. Báwo ni mo ṣe máa darapọ̀ mọ́ Smart Cash? Ó yá ká lọ. Kàn tẹ *939# tàbí kí o dáńlóòdù áàpù Smart Cash lónìí kí o lè bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ní gbádùn gbogbo ìdúnàdúrà rẹ láì ní owó àfikún kankan. Smart Cash, money matter na sense. Smart Cash wá látọwọ́ INT'L.
Ọlọ́run mọ̀ jà orógun pélé landlord lolúwa rẹ̀ ó darúgbó sí.
Mr. Olóòṣèbí kan ẹ
ti dé ṣé kò sí.
ẹ wo ọ̀rọ̀ ilẹ̀ tó wọ́n gógó ìlú tójú sú mi ó sì wù mí kémi náà fi December kí n ṣe foundation lé mi.
ẹ má fòyà ọ̀rọ̀ yín ti dayọ̀ torí irú yín ni Zenithal Properties Limited tó wà ní ọjọ́ Ìbàdàn tí èmi àti ẹbí mi ń bá dòwò pọ̀ ṣe máwọn àǹfààní bàǹtàbàǹtà ìwá. Zenithal Properties Limited is bringing you Itura Garden Estate along Moniya Ìṣẹ́yìn Road, just 15 minutes from the Moniya train station Ìbàdàn. ẹ tún ní guarantee C/O lẹ́yìn ìgbà tẹ́ ẹ bá ra ilẹ̀ lọ́dọ̀ wọn for just 2.8 million naira tó jẹ́ promo price. ẹ kàn sàtọ́nlẹ̀ 500,000 naira pẹ̀lú àǹfààní àti san yòókù díẹ̀díẹ̀ fún oṣù mẹ́fà láìsan interest fee. ẹ tún lè ra ilẹ̀ sí Ìbàdàn Rivera Estate wọn ní Ìlàjú Community, Èrúwà Road, selling at just 1.2 million naira promo price pẹ̀lú C/O. You can complete payments within 6 months after making an initial deposit of 250,000 naira. ẹ̀rí gbogbo àǹfààní yìí ló wà ní Ìbàdàn Land Registry. bẹ́ẹ̀ bá wá ṣe ń ra ilẹ̀ lẹ́yìn tún máa gba àwọn ẹ̀bùn bíi màálù, àgbò àti bẹ́ẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ. 0903-286-6267 tàbí 0816-332-6868.
Is it okay to make fun of our tooth gap? Let's have a talk. Colgate makes your teeth so strong. Stop cover your mouth. Not to do yanga with your smile. Brush your teeth with Colgate. Zero cavities and fresh breath. If you use a Colgate paste. Not to do yanga with your smile. Brush your teeth with Colgate. Colgate, #1 oral care brand in the world.
Ìbàdàn nílé Olúyọ̀lé, get ready for the biggest Vibes on Vibes experience this December. It's the West NG Dirty December Carnival. Tiomilu Ìbàdàn Títì. The most exciting Dirty December party is happening live on the 20th. Ogúnjọ́ oṣù kejìlá ọdún 2025 at the Liberty Stadium, Òkè-Àdó Ring Road, Ìbàdàn. Òdu West NG iṣẹ́ ìmọ̀lókò níbi kápátí àríyá tí ò sẹ́lẹ́gbẹ̀ ní gbogbo South West. Come enjoy a thrilling mix of trade fair, native cuisines, fashion runway, music performances, and fireworks that light up the night sky. Àríyá ilé kúrò ní wẹ́rẹ́wẹ́rẹ́. It's not just another party. It's culture. It's excitement. A feeling that says West is best. To partner with West NG or secure a vendor stand, pay Olamide Lori 0903-286-6134 or Solomon on 0803-423-9454 or follow at West NG Fest on Instagram. West NG Dirty December Carnival. Oh my yato. Oh my larinrin.
Come on.
retí rẹ̀ àsìkò idán yẹn tuntun dé o 32 FM 94.9 fẹ̀yìn ẹ̀ pẹ̀lú àjọṣepọ̀ Ride Rose tó ṣetán láti dẹ́rìn pẹ̀kẹ́ fayọ̀kúnú ọkàn yìí níbi ìmọ́lẹ̀ kérésìmesì yóò ti mọ̀ tàn yànyànyàn nílùú Ìbàdàn ṣe ti ṣetán fún baba kérésìmesì ti iléeṣẹ́ 32 FM tọdún 2025 bẹ̀rẹ̀ láti ọjọ́ kìíní oṣù kejìlá títí wọ ọjọ́ kẹrìnlélógún oṣù kejìlá ní Palm Small Ring Road nílùú Ìbàdàn àwọn ohun ìṣeré lóríṣiríṣi fún àwọn ọmọ yín yóò wà ní ìkàlẹ̀ ẹ tún wá gbọ́ o ọjọ́ mẹ́rìnlélógún gbáko ńlá fi pé ẹ̀bùn gbà béèrè kó o jẹ̀bù kàbìtì yàtọ̀ sí ẹ̀bùn tẹ́ gbé lọlé ijó orin ìdíje ẹ̀fẹ̀ àti ìgbádùn tí kò lẹ́lẹ́gbẹ́ fáwọn ọmọ yín bàbá kérésìmesì tọdún yìí yàtọ̀ jọ́ torí pé kí ni gbogbo ìgbádùn àti idán yẹn pẹ̀lú ẹgbẹ̀rún méje náírà péré ni 7,000 naira bẹ́ẹ̀ náà ètò tọwọ́bọnú àṣẹ́kọ̀ọ́ gbẹ̀bù kàǹkà lọ́wọ́ bàbá kérésìmesì lórí afẹ́fẹ́ yóò mọ̀ wáyé láago 4 kọjá ìṣẹ́jú márùndínlógún títí wo aago 5 ìrọ̀lẹ́ láàrin ọ̀sẹ̀ aago 5 àbọ̀ sí aago 6 ìrọ̀lẹ́ lópin ọ̀sẹ̀ ẹ tara ṣàṣà wá máa ra tíkẹ́ẹ̀tì bàbá kérésìmesì fáwọn ọmọ yín ní ìkànnì 32 FM àjàkẹ́rin ilé àwọn àgbẹ̀ Cocoa House ibẹ̀ ni ẹ máa bọ̀ láti ra tíkẹ́ẹ̀tì ṣagbátẹrù tàbí fún ẹ̀kúnrẹ́rẹ́ àlàyé ẹ pè Sùnbọ̀ sórí 0704-017-4981 tàbí Bọ́láńlé sórí 0813-183-2421 bàbá kérésìmesì iléeṣẹ́ 32 FM tọdún 2025 idán tó jù dán lọ.
Kí ló ṣẹlẹ̀? Ó ga o, gbogbo ìgbà tí mo bá fi owó ránṣẹ́ tàbí gbowó wọlé, fíám, wọ́n kàn máa fa oríṣiríṣi owó yọ lọ́wọ́ mi ni. Owó àláàtì, owó ìfowóránṣẹ́ àti owó lórí pé mo san bíìlì pẹ̀lú. Mo kàn láàánú ènìyàn rárá o.
Ṣé o ti gbọ́ pé pẹ̀lú Smart Cash o lè fi owó ránṣẹ́ sí ilé ìfowópamọ́ mìíràn, san gbogbo bíìlì rẹ, kó dẹ̀ tún gba àláàtì, gbogbo rẹ̀ lọ́fẹ̀ẹ́.
Lọ́fẹ̀ẹ́?
Kódà wọ́n tún máa san ìdá 15 owó èlérí fún ẹ lórí owó tí o bá fi pamọ́ lọ́dún.
Ṣé lóòótọ́? Àwẹ̀ fọ́nà mi. Báwo ni mo ṣe máa darapọ̀ mọ́ Smart Cash?
Ó yá ká lọ. Kàn tẹ *939# tàbí kí o dáńlóòdù áàpù Smart Cash lónìí kí o lè bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ní gbádùn gbogbo ìdúnàdúrà rẹ láì ní owó àfikún kankan. Smart Cash, money matter na sense. Smart Cash wá látọwọ́ Airtel.
Mr. Teacher, please, what happens when children come to school? How is it that they leave home very neat and return looking so different?
Non-stop action, ma. All the learning and sports burn energy. So those sweat stains, dirty uniforms and shoes, they show that your kid has been very active.
Now, wow.
Your kids need nourishing energy. Give them Milo at breakfast. It has nutrients that support energy release to help them get the most out of their day. Milo, energy to go further.
Milo!
Every meal I cook must taste just right. Rich, delicious, full of love.
We hear you. Your Maggie Star in double cubes. Double the flavor, double the convenience. The same trusted taste you love. Maggie Star double cubes. Made from fermented soya and other selected ingredients for that deep flavor and quality that only Maggie brings to your dishes.
Absolutely delicious.
Get Maggie double cubes today. Me and Maggie, so good together.
Gbogbo fashion designers nípínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ àgàgà nílẹ̀ Ìbàdàn ẹ máa kó àmójúbà Ìbàdàn monogram hall tó kalẹ̀ sí Ìbàdàn. Ayé ti lajú o. Júkà máa gùn yẹn kìn fabẹ́rẹ́ déjà kan lọ́sẹ̀ mẹ́fà ká tó gbaṣọ. Yàtọ̀ sáṣọ àgbà táwọn àgbà ń kóṣẹ́ sí. Ìbàdàn monogram hall ló ń pe àkíyèsí ẹ̀yin tailor àti fashion designers tó ń ránṣọ kalẹ̀ tán tó fẹ́ dára sáṣọ. Ó lè yẹ ẹni tó gbaṣọ fún ọ lóde àríyá gbogbo tó fẹ́ lọ. Bóyá lo mọ̀ pé àìkóṣẹ́ gidi sáṣọ múlòdè lè mú ní bárasá. Ìbàdàn monogram hall tó ń wá kiri kò jìnnà sí ọ. Ìbàdàn monogram hall fún agbádá embroidery, kaftan embroidery, personalized gift items, uniform branding and bulk orders. Mo fẹ́ fòwú dára sára towel, rope, caps, polo, t-shirt and gift sets. Lówó tí ò gira ni o. WhatsApp calling number 091-1014-1773 tàbí 070-5506-3285. Olúléeṣẹ́ Àbíká complex tó wà níwájú Bovas filling station Aliwo gate Ìbàdàn àti number 7 Alawakalawe Òkè Ìbàdàn estate Àkóbọ̀ lẹ́gbẹ̀ẹ́ Lighthouse hotel. Tẹ̀ sójú ẹ̀rọ ayélujára at Ìbàdàn monogram hub. Débẹ̀ kó ṣe sásọ. Ohun tá a bá ní ká 20 tó ní lọ kò lè gbèsè wa lárugẹ lórí iṣẹ́ tá à ń ṣe.
It's Laughter Santa! It's Laughter Santa! It's Laughter Santa! It's Laughter Santa!
Come on!
Laughter, Laughter Santa! La 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 la!
A big thank you to all our sponsors who made this year's Laughter Santa possible. Partners like Cheetos, Biloxi, Sunch Consticks, Seaway, Dudu, Toddler's Toys Mart, Accessible Publishers, Fauzi Hotels, Vital Products, Nature's Field, Ride Ross, Hallelujah Oil. We say thank you and we wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year in advance.
Start your day and have a good time. Kivo Creamer. And where you need to have the break time. Kivo Creamer. If not tea, Papa Garita. Kivo Creamer. Kivo Creamer.
32 FM 94.9.
Welcome back. The Podium on 32 FM 94.9. In case you're just joining us, our guest this morning is Comrade Emmanuel Goodero, the former TUC chairman here in New State. We're looking at the state of the nation this morning. Remember, you were live on Facebook, 32 FM 949. If you like the video, share and drop your comment. So, Comrade, thank you for staying with us. Before we went on that break, you were talking about how market women and community people in the community should now realize the importance of the NLC and in terms of putting pressure on the government to tackle security challenges in the country.
Yes, as we always say, whenever we have actions, previously all these market women, the drivers and whatever, they do stay aloof. Despite that the drivers, they belong to a union that belong to the NLC, and their senior counterpart as the Road Transport Employers Association of Nigeria, they belong to the TUC. They normally behave as if nothing concerns them, but a lot of them are beginning to see wisdom in coming together to fight a common cause. So ditto the market, especially the market women, the artisans, the hairdressers and whatever, once there are issues like this, before I left office anyway, we do involve them and they do join us. So on issues like this too, because we cannot deny the fact that insecurity should be a thing of national concern. A lot of us in the South, we behave as if it's only a matter for the North. But now, you know how very rampant kidnapping is within Ibadan. In the last, since Gumi came to Ibadan, things have escalated.
Right. So
I just had just yesterday a young man, a young guy, and the daughter of a pastor, the JCI president in Ibadan, were kidnapped, and it's on the increase. Those are the ones that we can hear of. What of those that we can't? So it should be a thing of concern to everybody now.
Yeah, and you made a statement, comrade. You made a statement that since Gumi came to Ibadan, I mean, that's a very strong statement. So that those who want you to elaborate.
Anybody that is on security watch, immediately that guy came, they said somebody that ran away from Ogun State was located in Okeogun here, Shaki. And this man has a record. He was previously, if you monitor security, he was previously here when locals in Kishi, that is Kishi, Boho, Oreloko area, when they bombarded the insurgents, then they were coming in from Kwara State. Information had it that Gumi was with them. He barely escaped by the whiskers.
But this is somebody. Before we go to our panelist, comrade, this is somebody who has, been talking about how the bandits need to be spoken to, where the need for dialogue. He says some of them are marginalized, that there can be a sort of negotiated solution to this crisis. I mean, that's what he has been advocating for. But to now say that is coming to Ibadan triggered, yes.
Don't let us go far. Do you negotiate with a blackmailer? Well, what is happening is even worse than blackmailing. So, and if Gumi said something that all what he does it with the approval of the government.
Yes.
And no government has come out to actually deny that.
Right.
And he came to Ibadan. He was granting interview. He was saying that these people should be, their concerns should be included in the national budget. I mean, what audacity, for God's sake.
Okay, let's go to our panelists. Let me start off with Barrister. Barrister, you have the floor.
Yes, Toba. Thank you very much. Let me greet our guest once again. Now, my Labour brother, the grim reality is that the entire North is saturated by bandits.
Sure.
If we have to win this war, it may be very necessary to contain or confine the theater of war. I think it is enough of having the bandits determine the war and the theater of war. In other words, that we need to take the war to them, which now brings me to the area that I want you to answer a few questions on. The president declared a security emergency. The reports we are getting is that some terrorist cells are already relocating to the south. They come loaded in trailers and alongside their weapons. If there is a security emergency, don't you think it may be necessary in the circumstance for the Bola Ahmed Tinubu to suspend some sections of the Constitution, particularly the one on free and unhindered movement across the country?
Yeah, thank you very much. I don't know. I was on a program at a sister radio station yesterday where I said this. You see, the emergency declaration was half-heartedly done. That is, in fact, it may be just to satisfy the U.S. that is hitting down on Nigeria. It wasn't properly planned. Now look at the way it was done. Even the recruitment. How far about the recruitment? Let's just even agree that there was personnel shortage. How far about the recruitment? That is one. Two, you said you decree that the policemen that are with VIPs and whatever, they should be withdrawn. How far about that? You know their number. There is a unit in the Nigeria police force that does that. They know how many people they posted out. After 2 weeks, what has been the return? Then, just like you said, we said in an emergency situation like that have been declared, there should be money voted. When this man was the chief of staff, and now he has repeated it, the new Minister of Defense, that Nigerian borders are so porous. I think you have just said something that we always say, that we should contain this thing. Yes, they are within our shore. Start building fences. We have the money. All those monies that are missing, 210 trillion, 1.something trillion, billion dollars. I mean, harness them. Let's make Nigeria secure. If we confine them, and like you have just advised, remove that clause from our constitution so that they will not easily migrate. Unfortunately, sir, I want to tell you what we all know. Once there is that grazing route in the forest, no matter the law, it may not be easy to implement. All these people, majority, those that are coming through the main road, they are the ones we see. A lot of them, they follow the grazing route in our forest using motorcycles. Who manned those grazing routes? Nobody. They said they recruited forest guards are with the SSS, never deployed. I mean, we are just deceiving ourselves. A lot of things that it will be proclaimed, it will not be enforced. That is our bane, sir. Even up till now. You are right. We've said it. A lot of us we have said it to people. The one that actually pain us most is the so-called House of National Assembly members. You tell them something, they will promise heaven and earth, let them get to Abuja. They won't be able to do anything. They say they are not able to muster enough support.
Right. Okay, let's go to Prof.
Because everything with them is money. You and I know that for House of Rep member to present a bill, it has to do with millions of naira. For senators to present a bill and be supported, it has to do with millions of naira.
Let's go to Prof now. Prof?
Yeah, thank you, comrades. It's great to have you today. We started this conversation with YUSUF pointing out to the fact that the intervention of the labor movement seems to be late. One can argue that it's better late than never. But my real concern is the condition of workers and the pressure, social pressure within the Nigerian context. If you look at especially government workers, you will find that the so-called minimum wage is not a living wage. Unemployment is extremely very high among young people. Although we tend to look at banditry as something that is coming from the north, but kidnapping is not all about banditry. I think it's important for us to underscore that. Yeah. And it seems that even within the south, we have experienced it as waves, and it seems a new wave is now happening. We should not just attribute it to the spread of banditry. I think it's a crime of its own, and those who get involved in it after the arrest of that man who eventually went to jail from Lagos. Evans, yeah, it went down a little bit, but now we are experiencing a renewed wave. Wouldn't you rather see the government, ask the government to pursue it as a crime. It may be linked to banditry, it may also not be linked to banditry. But what we know is really that there seems to be an acceleration of such instances within the southern part of the country. Do you think that it has anything also to do with the poor social conditions, the high unemployment rate, the poverty that has increased over the years, or you think that it is just a matter of bad people doing bad things, not that it is connected to these social conditions that is the result of government policies concerning salaries, wages, unemployment, job creation, and so on?
Yeah, thank you, my professor. I know your questions are, I want to see it as rhetorical, because from your desk, you have research results that confirm all your assertion. I will call it assertion because if you test it with the current situation, it will be positively correlated. So it is true. Poor economic condition, poverty, high level of corruption, insensitivity of our leaders, the way they live in affluence, subjecting majority of the subjects to poverty. All, you know, I want to be frank here. Kidnapping has been the bane of the South, even before insurgents. There have been kidnappers, there have been kidnapping business in the South. And that is the truth of the matter. Bad people doing bad things, one, but the government of the day, no, Nigeria is not blessed with leadership. Had it been as we are blessed with natural, man, material, and human resources, we are blessed with good leadership that will harness all this. I don't think there will be any country in this sub-Saharan Africa, or Africa as a whole, that can match Nigeria. But unfortunately, we have a lot of kleptomaniacs as our leaders. They are dealers, they are not leaders. So all what we have said, bad political situation, poor economic environment, poor business environment, and whatever, all led to what we are having. And legally, a government that's supposed, they know how to introduce taxes, they know how to introduce fines, but when you are to introduce a commensurate income, minimum wage, then it becomes problem. If I want to draw us back, you see that the minimum wage was agreed after the subsidy removal, and even before its implementation. Before implementation, fuel price has increased 3 different times before the federal government itself started its implementation. So this is a government that is not sensitive to the plight of the people. In Nigeria today, in any sane environment, there are always 3 classes of people, economic-wise: the upper class, the middle class, the lower class. In Nigeria, we all know that the middle class has been wiped out. A lot of them moved down to the lower class, and that is why poverty is now at extreme level, where those that can struggle, those that can steal, those that can join the political bandwagon, few of them, they move up to the upper class. So you are right, sir, Prof. You are right. And that's why I said, I know many research findings on your tables will have confirmed this. And it will show that the situation will have positive correlation with the bad thing we are having now.
Right. I'm happy that Prof brought the economic angle to all of this, because as we know, insecurity is a multifaceted problem, you know, especially in Nigeria. If you look at how things have been, there are those who talk about the ideological side of it. That's the radicalization of people, based on extremist ideology. There are those who talk about the resource part of it, where illegal mining also plays a role in this insecurity. There's also those who talk about the, herder farmer crisis as well as one of the facets of it. And I'm glad Prof brought the economic angle. I like to go back to the role of the NLC as well, because, as you said, primary responsibility is the workers in Nigeria. And those who say that, the current economic security challenges have also been exacerbated by, the the fact that purchasing power has been eroded, the two policies of the government, subsidy removal, floating of the naira, although inflation is coming down gradually based on the data that we are seeing, that those who say it is yet to reflect, in the reality of the average Nigerian. So there are those who argue that this problem, although it has persisted for years, it's also escalated because of the policies of the government. So my question is, do you think that the NLC did enough to sort of put pressure on the government at the time those policies were being rolled out to find a middle ground and find something that is, acceptable to Nigerians or to the workers that they fight for? I don't know if you get my drift. Do you think the current NLC did enough to put pressure on the government? Yes.
Yeah, I think I get what we're driving at. Yes. In those days, while some of us have not even gotten to the top echelon of the labor movement. One, maybe I'm blessed. I'm an agricultural economist. I'm a psychologist. We do get our leaders involved. It is we at the grassroots, at the state level, that we do a lot of things and we give it to our leaders at the top. I don't know whether it goes on now or not. It's about 6-7 years that I've been off the labor movement leadership when I became a general manager in the service of Oyo State. So, what you are saying, you are right with what you have said. I don't think the labor movement now see to the fact that when government comes out with a policy, it is the duty of the labor movement to critique it. Look at its implementation as it will affect the workers. Whether we like it or not, today, the Nigerian economic climate is still being driven by fixed income earners, largely. When you look at the inflow and the outflows, if the federal government can delay salary payment or state government can delay salary payment for upward of 2 weeks, the economy will react very sharply. So, in all this situation, the labor movement, I said they have slept on a lot of things.
Yeah,
it's part of what they slept on. In our days, during those days, we don't keep quiet. I think those who knows me during May Day, if there is anything, we deviate from whatever speeches the national leaders they read at Abuja. We will say as it concerns us in Oyo State here. But I don't think it happens again. Yeah. I'm not sure.
So do you think at the national level they should have done more in terms of engaging the government at the time subsidy was removed at the time?
What I'm saying.
Yes.
All those policy, all these tax issue, all whatever. You see, you won't pay the full minimum wage. And many states are not paying the full minimum wage, but they will put on the full weight of the tax law. Who does that? There's no way it is done.
Yeah.
Prices kept increasing, nothing to the fixed income earners. They are planning to increase VAT and this and this and that. Nothing. They are not thinking of increasing. Yes, the minimum wage is a matter of law, but after the minimum wage has been fixed, there is the window where there could be wage adjustment. These are the windows we want the labor movement to always exploit. But I don't know. I don't know.
And comrade, there's also another side of the argument that maybe we should start looking at just building on the minimum wage issue you talked about. We should start looking at a situation where we decentralize wage negotiation. Maybe there's a cap at the federal level, and then states can now decide that this is how much I want to pay, and this is where. Yes.
Don't come with that.
Yes.
There is no rational worker that will allow that. Wait, if the standard of the university you went, is the certificate different? Is the market you attend, are they graded?
No, the argument here, comrade, if I could just.
That's what I'm saying.
Yes.
Is the the price that you meet at the market?
Yes.
Let's take Ibadan here now. The federal workers, would they pay a different price from the state workers? In Abuja, will the FCT workers pay different price from the federal workers? No, you don't bring that. You don't bring that. There's no way that we fought. The minimum wage law should remain on the exclusive legislative list. I know where you are going.
Yeah.
Nobody will take that.
Yes. I mean, I'm happy that you anticipated where I was going, but the point I'm also making is that there are those who have argued that, economic viability of different states, for instance,
even as at now, my uncle, at now, minimum wage is still in the state, is subject to ability to pay. That's why, apart from the negotiation at the federal level, there are still negotiations at the state level. And I was the public service joint negotiating chairman in Oyo State for about 6.5 years. It's only the last minimum wage that I had left office that I did not negotiate. I took part in negotiations since the time of, I think the last military administrator we had in Oyo State then, Nwosu also.
Yes.
From Nwosu till 𝐂𝐈𝐒 it was only this last one that I did not take part in it because I've retired anyway.
Yeah.
So, we have a pattern that we follow if the employer is very open. You see, what they don't know is that the workers, we wouldn't want our sources of where we get our pay to go off or to go dry or to collapse. We are always very considerate. So, like in Oyo State, we wouldn't say we with force take what the federal government is paying. No. But the state government has to be open with us. They have to bring their books. We have to look at it. Then, if this is the percentage you can use for workers, so that there will be other percentages for development.
Right.
That's exactly the way negotiation has been going. So it's still down to ability to pay in various states.
Right.
Oyo State is not earning the same thing that Lagos State is earning.
Yes.
Lagos is not paying the same thing Ogun State is earning. Ogun is not paying the same thing as Rivers and whatever is earning. So it still boils down to ability to pay.
Okay. Thank you for clearing that out. And one of the things that have also come up, I think the new Minister of Defense also talked about it. He talked about the importance of collaboration at the subnational and regional level. He even made reference to the Southwest as well. Saying that Southwest is enjoying relative peace because the governors have decided to come together and fight this problem head on. It talked about collaboration at the community level as well, and those who say all of these things are pointing to the need to decentralize the security architecture and perhaps community policing and state police. I'd like to get your thoughts on that as one of the solutions to the lingering security challenges in the country.
Yeah, I'm 100% in support of decentralization of the security architecture of this country, especially state and community policing. And we see that it can work. It's not that other states are not. It's only we are not being careful the way we play religion and ethnicity. In the north, majority of them, all those that say they are practicing Sharia, they have this ISBA now. But they can only go to destroy beer parlor and whatever. They cannot face insecurity. But in the Southwest, we knew what we wanted. If the plan that worked the way the planners wanted Amoteku to be, if they allowed them to carry all these light arms and whatever. In fact, what we are saying is not what we will be saying. And you remember before Amoteku, we have this 𝐷𝐵𝐒𝐿, local hunters, and you see their collaboration, even with the military and the police. Wherever there is no way the military, the police, there is no way they can know the terrain of a local environment more than the locals. So, because of this collaboration, if they actually want to work, the Amotekun, they don't have prosecution power.
Yes.
They can only apprehend, and they see hand over to police, and the police, they do whatever they like with whomever they like. So that is where the limitations are. If the security architecture is fully decentralized, my brother, Southwest, especially, I'm very sure of the Southwest, we will not be having problems.
Okay, let's go back to our panelists. Let me go to Barrister now. Barrister?
Oh, thank you very much. My brother, comrade.
Yes, sir.
I've always loved to use this axiom that what is good for the goose is good for the gander.
Yes, should be, but in Nigeria we say should be good for the country.
That is exactly where I am going, sir. Today, we condemn terrorism, banditry, and kidnapping, and other criminal activities. But we all know that the foundation of all these criminalities is the corruption that is in government. Yes. Recently, the National Assembly, particularly the Senate, is working on a bill to make death penalty the appropriate penalty for terrorism, banditry, and kidnapping.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, should we not tackle the problem from the root? If corruption by the elites is what gives, what waters the seed of crimes, I am thinking that vitriolage, or what you call acid bath, ought be the lot of corrupt officials. What is your view?
Yeah, thank you very much. 100% in support of your view. But you and I know something. The political class, the ruling elites, including the business class now, that's why, I first mentioned political class, but I now use the ruling elites. That is the political elites and the business elites. They love themselves more than we, the masses, love ourselves. They will protect whatever law is coming out. Know that there will always be that loophole or a clause that will protect them. Because, look, it is difficult to fight corruption because corruption is not actually having its root from below. It is from above. And laws comes from above. Laws are made from above. So they always protect themselves when churning out any law, any policy statement. Therefore, if they want to do it, people, somebody like me and somebody like you, some of us have clamored that they should include corruption. You are talking of banditry, kidnapping, whatever. Include corruption. Proving corrupt activity should also be included. But they said no. How can you define corruption? What is corruption? What is not corruption? And this and this and that. And therefore, because some of us, we do engage some of the senators. We do engage them. Why can't you do it this way? If you want this problem, but they know all of them are they are legislatives. They are executive. They are legislatives. So
okay.
They are people.
Yeah. Let's go to Prof now. Prof.
Interesting thing is really that when the 2006 defense policy was stated, corruption was actually listed as one of the threats that Nigeria faces. So we expected that corruption will be treated at that level of a security threat. But as it turned out, that has not been the case. So we will have to live with it until we have a government who is committed to actually dealing with corruption. But as it is, I don't think Nigeria is ready for corruption, to deal with corruption. Because
God bless you, Prof. We have not had that leadership that is ready to face corruption headlong.
Absolutely. If we don't have those kind of focus, then institutions cannot be strong because it deinstitutionalizes processes and make them look very, very hollow. So, which brings me to the point of also reconsidering the role of the labor movement. Because when Yusuf was asking question, he was saying, did the labor movement, have they done enough to engage governments? There's a general belief that the labor movement itself is weakened first by the disadvantage the union face when you have massive unemployment, and you have suffered from deunionization, the strength of the union becomes very weak. So the capacity of the union to even negotiate or carry out mass action becomes very limited. And that's why the Labour NLC has always joined other civil society organizations when they are trying to organize mass actions. But my real question is the question of the labor leadership itself. And we must not paper over this very important matter, because there's a general loss of confidence in the labor leadership. People think that they are also corrupt, and that most of the call for action that they do is just lip service. And they have good reason for that, because when you look at past labor leaders, many of them even have gone into politics. It seems that they also acquire a lot of resources while in those offices. So they simply get money from government and take the people for a ride. Now, this is an assumption, and you have been a part of that process. Would you be frank to tell us about the kind of pressures that come on the labor leaders, especially during moments when they are planning to challenge government in a mass action, or government is threatening them? What exactly are they often presented with bribes, or are they threatened? Is it easy to be a labor leader in Nigeria of today?
Yeah, thank you, my prof. Let me put it this way. It is not very easy to be in a position of leadership anyhow, anywhere, in a country like Nigeria where anything goes. 2, corruptive tendency is available everywhere. It now depends on the individual. Some of us, like me, when I was in office, even up to now, for those who have been following or monitoring my activities, I took this way of life as a calling. I cannot say that of many labor leaders. And for people that say, what you go, it is not always every time. I mean, you see, there is no way when you want to get involved in certain things, the advantage that the employer, I don't want to use government alone now, the advantage that the employer have is that they have the availability of resources, many resources to them, part of which is money or inducement in so many forms. But if you know, like I always want to say, people are listening to me now here, at least I worked with, even as top labor leaders, I worked with Governor Abiola, even starting from late Governor Akala, late Governor Ajimobi, and 𝐂𝐈𝐒. I don't think during my tenure we lost a battle, talk less of losing a war. Because I always make recourse to my constituency before any final decision is taken. Why it seems so that at the national level, we gave our leaders certain thing that, okay, you go. If you think it is favorable, just carry on. It is that carry on clause that were maybe abused or whatever. But what I want to say is, with the little that I have seen, when the chiefs are down, Yoruba will say, "Enikole osa, enikole odatowele odale etuwa nikofo komanisho." You know, when labor leader put 5 requests to the employer will say, "Okay, 1, 2, 3, yes, we can stop. This one, there is no way, unless you want this company or this organization to run down, we cannot do this now. You see, this one, we'll keep it in view." Especially, and those 2, they will be the germane ones that people will be expecting positive result from. The one that you and I will know that, look, this thing cannot be done, but we just have to put it. Then the other one, they will say it cannot be immediately done. Let's keep it in view so that we will continue to interact. But out of 5, you have 3, that is 60%. our people will say no, 60%, no, they know, even it is the Jamin one. So they will now say, what if one that they have collected envelope. If it is every time that they give envelope, envelope now to fair time.
I mean, so is it a question of perception?
Envelope no to fair time.
It's
not always like it seems.
Right.
The only thing is that those that went in for the negotiation that see facts. There are assumptions outside.
Yes.
So people will hold on to the assumptions. But when you are faced with the fact and figure, you just have to be considerate. If you say you want this, if what of government will tell you, okay, if you want this, we cannot afford it now. Or the employer will say we cannot afford it now. So we have to downsize. Do you have job to be given to those that will be affected? And Yoruba, my own clause is that I always don't want to lose any of my member to any condition. And that is why you will see that when labor goes on any activity, the last clause will be no member of the labor member will be affected. So it's not every time. Yes, some labor leaders, they do certain things, maybe clandestinely. I won't vouch for what I don't know, but it's not always hidden. Spirit being now.
So comrade, you think
if it is in the middle of the night, there will be night watch, there will be drivers, so they will see things, and later information will come out.
Right. And I think I understand the point you're making about negotiating the employer-employee relationship. It's always a very tricky one, even in the private sector as well, because the employer always has the advantage, at the end of the day. Yes. So, but do you think it's just a question of perception, or maybe because Nigerians generally have lost, there's a trust deficit between the leadership and the followership across all level, both in the labor union, both in government. Do you think that also contributes to it? Yes.
Yes, trust issue led us to where we are today. Leadership, even in the house, if we have the mother, the father, and 4 children, there are always trust issues. No, I don't trust my dad. My dad loved my brother than I, and this and that. So and it is that trust issue, and that is why majority of us believe that let us put everything down. Let us reorganize. Let us restructure. Hausa don't trust Fulani. Fulani don't trust Yoruba. Yoruba don't trust Igbo. Igbo don't trust Ibibio and whatever. So why don't we, those that you think you can easily earn their trust, put them together. Let them come together. Let them try and govern themselves.
Is it that
at
the
least
yes?
we'll have bridged that trust issue a bit. But those that are eating from the center, they don't want to listen to anything like that. But
Right.
I'm very sure that is where it is coming to.
Okay, so-
whether Nigeria likes it or not, it will come down there.
Right. So how do you think labor unions can regain trust? Because to many Nigerians, it looks like until there is a 3-month-long strike or days of protest, that's when they feel like, oh, these labor unions are actually effective. So what makes an effective labor union, and how do you rebuild trust? Because many people still make reference to the days of Adams Oshiomhole, who is now in politics. They talk about how he was, a thorn in the flesh, so to speak, of the Obasanjo administration at the time, when fuel price was being increased and all of that. They make reference to the Nupeng of those days. So is it that people feel like for a labor union to be effective, you have to be on strike, you have to be, you have to be protesting, you have to always, oppose the policies of the government? Or it's a wrong perception to have about labor unions, and how can labor unions rebuild trust in the people?
Yeah, I may want to tell you, and I want you to look back. You see, the era of Oshiomhole during Obasanjo era,
Yes.
was actually the last era of vibrant and general labor movement activities that we had. It was Obasanjo that took labor to court. It was during Obasanjo era that labor activities generally are being restricted and reduced to their constituency. And that has been when, you see, it becomes so difficult for our members to come to terms with the fact that electricity price want to increase, labor will go on the street. There will be no water, labor will go on the street. That one has stopped because there was a court judgment to that effect. So labor can no longer do that. And people still expect labor to be doing that. And if labor continues to do that, labor will continue to face litigation and labor will be losing cases in the civil court.
Yeah.
So that one actually led to lack of trust between workers and their leaders. They want things to be as it was in the past. Unfortunately, the situation has changed. So, and that was the beginning. And you know, workers, they belong to the larger society. It is what they believe that they will take to the larger society and the trust of the larger society also. Then, the activity of labor and the government, let me say. In those days, even if negotiation went into the middle of the night, suspension of labor activity will not be done in the middle of the night or over the radio. They will say, okay, let us go and give back feedback to our members.
Yes.
We will call what we always refer to as Congress. They will give us the reason and we will actually reason with them, and then they'll say, then it will not be just over the radio or whatever. That's what some of us told our leaders then. Strikes were not called over the radio. Will not succumb to suspending strike over the radio. Whatever decision you take, you give a feedback to those of us at the grassroots. We'll tell our members, we'll give you a feedback, then you can suspend it. And I think that is what the current labor leaders, they are now facing with their grassroots members.
Right.
So you don't just end the meeting, because the employer will want you, they want to coerce you immediately. Since we have arrived at this, they wouldn't want you to give feedback to your members whose confidence you had before you engage the employer in discussion and negotiation. So that has been the bane.
Right.
And I give kudos to ASU. I think ASU is the only union, or let me say maybe the unions in the academic sector, they are the only union, they are the only union that keep up that whatever decision, before a final decision is taken, they have to get a feedback from their members. And maybe that is why they are always as resolute as they are. So maybe some activities, some decision of the labor leaders also erode their trust, and it reduces their vibrancy the way people see it. But the fact that labor can no longer actually come out to fight for the generality of the people make a lot of the commoners lose their trust in labor leaders, and they think they are no more vibrant.
Right.
But you see that when it concerns their constituency, that vibrancy will come up.
Right.
Because we have all tools, all laws that will be favoring us.
Okay, let's go to Barrister now as we wrap up with Comrade and bring in our second guest and second segment. Barrister, final round of questions as we wrap up with the Comrade.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Comrade,
Yes,
I think this is the appropriate time to ask you this, since we have delved into labor matters. The labor union.
Barrister, please hold that thought. Let me welcome Professor Sage as our second guest. He's already on the call, so let me just welcome you. Professor, it's Sage. Thank you for joining us, sir. Great to have you.
That's my guy.
Yes. Good morning, sir. Prof, I don't know if you can hear me, sir. Can you hear me, sir?
Hear you.
Good morning, sir. Good to have you, sir. Yes, good to have you. So please, yes, please stay on the call, sir. Stay on the call.
That legal luminary. You're
Yes.
welcome, sir.
Welcome,
Professor
sir.
Sage.
Yes. So please stay on the line. We're wrapping up with our first guest. So stay on the line. We'll get back to you in a bit. Please stay on the line, sir. Thank you, sir.
No problem.
Thank you, sir. All right, Barrister, go ahead.
Okay, comrade. I said the labor union fights injustice wherever it rears its ugly head against workers. I have a matter on my table, and I want your position on it. It concerns a pension manager. This worker had his employment terminated owing to a protracted illness. He was hospitalized, and as I speak, is still receiving treatment. Now, prior to the termination of his employment, he had saved 1.5 million with the pension manager. He needed money to pay for his hospital bills and approached the pension manager. He was given 500,000 and told to come back in 15 years to collect the balance of 1 million.
That is, the contributory pension is a matter of law. And that law is not straightforward. What is straightforward there is what they have done. The man maybe is yet to due for pension. So they only gave him the percentage of the lump sum, which vary between 25% and I think 50%.
Yeah.
Which we could have as severance, the lump sum severance benefit. Will be given to him. The rest will be spread out over the number of years he has left, even after retirement at the mandatory age, as pension. So it's a matter of law. But I think if he has a good lawyer, they can appeal on compassionate and health ground. They can appeal on a compassionate and health ground that part of what is reserved as the pension, rather than being given to his next of kin, let him have it and enjoy it to prolong his life. So that one is done. I know of a professor in UI too, Comrade Barrister Femi Aborishade handled the case. So maybe, Barrister, you can get in touch with Comrade Barrister Femi Aborishade. He handled that case. The man was here to retire. We lost him, and they were playing the same thing that is playing out now. They will rely on the PENCOM law, but the PENCOM law is not so absolute. So you appeal to the relativity in that law, and certain things could be done.
Right.
Okay, thank you
very much, comrade, for joining us on the program. It's been a very interesting conversation with you. Thank you so much. Prof, final comment as we let comrade go.
Yeah, I think he has been very forthcoming this morning, and I hope that he's available to the union still to render community service to them as they battle through this very challenging environment.
Prof, that is exactly what we tell our members. You see, there was an example. There was to be an issue. My constituency, they did not get to me first. The employer got to me first. I have to give them my sincerest advice.
Wow.
So we serve as consultant to both sides, but my constituency remains my constituency.
Right.
That is the work of constituency.
Right.
I remain a labor leader.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Comrade Dumale Ogudiro, former chairman, Trade Union Congress, TUC, Oyo State. So let's switch over now to the scholar and legal luminary in the house, Professor Itsesage. It's so good to have you on the podium, Prof. Good morning once again. And it's a panel discussion, Prof. We have two panelists in the house. They will be making contribution and also asking you question in the course of the conversation. We have your colleague in the profession, Barrister Yomi Ogunola, is here, and Professor Remi Ayede, Department of Political Science, University of Ibadan. They are also here as well. Yes, to ask you questions.
I am not Professor Itesage's colleague.
Yes.
I am his son. He is a father in the industry. Don't put me in trouble.
I also think that you must have been a student.
Yes. Yes, it's possible. Certainly. So good to have you. So good to have you, Prof. I mean, you're joining us at a time when the country is going through a lot in terms of security, mass kidnappings, abduction of students. We've seen the government declare national security emergency. We've seen the appointment of the new Minister of Defense. We've seen all kinds of steps being taken by the government. But from the constitutional and legal side of it, there are those who say there are some reforms, some kind of restructuring that needs to be done to address this problem at the root cause of this problem. So what do you think are the constitutional and legal sides to tackling insecurity in Nigeria, given how the problem has festered for many years in this country?
I don't think there's anything new in terms of the Constitution or the legal sides. I just think it's how you operate within what is currently available, constitutionally or otherwise. And it has more to do with the determination of those in power to ensure that law is applied fully against the people who are making life impossible for Nigerians. I think that is the aspect. Right. I don't think it's the law. I think it's the element of determination and orientation of those in power to go after criminal elements who are making life impossible for Nigerians.
Yeah. Prof, the side of the law that people have talked about is, for instance, devolving powers, giving, creating regional or state police, for instance. That's the side of the law that people have talked about as a solution to insecurity. Now, those who have also talked about, looking at issues like key sectors like mining, because they say there is a link between illegal miners and security, especially in states like Zamfara and what have you, that if we were to devolve powers, if we had to look at key sections of the Constitution and allow states take responsibility over some of these key areas, that's a legal side towards tackling the problem. That means that you are looking at a grassroots solution to this problem, tackling the problem at the grassroots level.
Yes, definitely allowing states to have their own police authority will help. There's no question about that. Giving them the power to have police instituted in the states. But even without that, see, the government, the federal government, which has the monopoly of authority in that area now, can devolve it. In an arrangement, for example, we have the Omoteco.
Yes.
All within that same system. And in my view, it has been very effective in Ondo State, where it has been deployed very, very firmly by where it was deployed firmly by 𝐾𝐈𝐒. I think it's being maintained by the current government. So, yes, having state police will help, but the federal government can allow states to exercise power almost as close to having state police once there's an agreement that all hands should be on deck in fighting this menace.
Right. Okay. Prof, we'll quickly take this short break. When we get back, we'll continue the conversation with you. Please stay on the line, Prof. It's a Podium on 32 FM 94.9. We're live on Facebook, 32 FM 949. Our guest on the second segment of the show is Professor Ite Sage. He's a legal luminary and a scholar. Do stay with us. We're back in a moment.
Every meal I cook must taste just right. Rich, delicious, full of love.
We hear you. Your Maggie Star in double cubes. Double the flavor, double the convenience. The same trusted taste you love. Maggie Star Double Cubes, made from fermented soya and other selected ingredients for that deep flavor and quality that only Maggie brings to your dishes.
Absolutely delicious.
Get Maggie Double Cubes today. Me and Maggie, so good together.
kí ló ṣẹlẹ̀? Ó ga o, gbogbo ìgbà tí mo bá fi owó ránṣẹ́ tàbí gbowó wọlé, fíám, wọ́n kàn máa fa oríṣiríṣi owó yọ lọ́wọ́ mi ni. Owó àláàtì, owó ìfowóránṣẹ́ àti owó lórí pé mo san bíìlì pẹ̀lú. Mo kùn láàánú ènìyàn rárá o.
Ṣé o ti gbọ́ pé pẹ̀lú Smart Cash o lè fi owó ránṣẹ́ sí ilé ìfowópamọ́ mìíràn, san gbogbo bíìlì rẹ kó dẹ̀ tún gba àláàtì, gbogbo rẹ̀ lọ́fẹ̀ẹ́. Kódà wọ́n tún máa san ìdá 15% owó èlérí fún ẹ lórí owó tí o bá fi pamọ́ lọ́dún.
Ṣé lóòótọ́? Àwẹ̀ fọ́nà mi. Báwo ni mo ṣe máa darapọ̀ mọ́ Smart Cash?
Ó yá ká lọ. Kàn tẹ *939# tàbí kí o download app Smart Cash lónìí kí o lè bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ní gbádùn gbogbo ìdúnàdúrà rẹ láì ní owó àfikún kankan. Smart Cash, money matter na sense. Smart Cash wá látọwọ́ Airtel.
It's Laughter Santa!
It's Laughter Santa! It's Laughter Santa! It's Laughter Santa!
Come on!
Laughter, laughter Santa! La 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 la!
Ọpẹ́ ńlá pàtàkì lọ́wọ́ àwọn onígbọ̀wọ́ yìí fún àjọyọ̀ ti bàbá kérésì wa lọ́dún ní iléeṣẹ́ Cheetos, 𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿, 𝐶𝐻 Dúdú, Toddlers Toy Mart, Accessible Publishers, Fauzi, Fighter Products, Nature's Feed, Ride Draws àti Hallelujah Oil. Ẹ ṣeun gan, àjọṣe wa kò ní bàjẹ́, kọ́lọ̀ má paná ìfẹ́ nígbà kankan.
I'm in love. Sonia tomato mix, stand up. Is it to open? Is it to squeeze? Is it to scoop? And is it to stir? Dishes come alive with so much taste. Sonia tomato mix, of course. Sonia tomato mix, yes sir. Sonia tomato mix, stand up pouch.
Sonia tomato mix in a new stand-up pouch.
Start your day and have a good time.
𝐃𝐈𝐒.
And where you need to have the break time.
𝐃𝐈𝐒.
If not tea, papa garita.
𝐃𝐈𝐒.
MD Global gbẹdẹ ìfàbẹ̀rẹ̀kẹ̀tẹ̀ àwòfù parí ọdún lórí fóònù àti electronics tẹ́ bára. ó ń gbẹ̀mí débẹ̀ gbajúgbajà lè tajà fóònù MD Global tó pẹ̀ka káàkiri ìlú Ìbàdàn. ra fóònù máa mú lọlé, ra electronics máa gbé lọlé, kò sì máa sanwó díẹ̀díẹ̀ bó bá ṣe wù ọ́. bẹ́ẹ̀ bá ṣe ń ra fóònù electronics àtàwọn fóònù accessories lẹ́mọ̀ gbà àwọn ẹ̀bùn tó jọjú làákọ́ ọdún tá a wà yìí. èyí bù àyà ó lékè ńkà MD Global ló kájú ẹ̀ ra fóònù lẹ́dínwó pẹ̀lú san díẹ̀díẹ̀ kó o tún gbẹ̀bùn relé. èyí pọ̀ kò ṣeé fẹnu ròyìn tán. bí wọ́n ṣe ń ta àwọn fóònù bíi Samsung, iPhone, Tecno, Infinix, INT'L, Vivo, laptop ní tuntun ni wọ́n tún ta UK used tó fọkàn balẹ̀. MD Global wà ní AA Shopping Complex ìyànàjọ́ lẹ́gbẹ̀ẹ́ Jovers Fuel Station Ìwó Road Ìbàdàn àti ní number 1 Ọlọ́ṣogbo Àkànná Road tó fi mọ́ shop 38 Lágẹ̀lú Complex ìyànàjọ́ Service Lane Ìwó Road Ìbàdàn. ẹ̀lọ́ wọn 08060628848. MD Global ra fóònù ra electronics lẹ́dínwó pẹ̀lú san díẹ̀díẹ̀.
Every meal I cook must taste just right. Rich, delicious, full of love.
We hear you. Your Maggie Star in double cubes. Double the flavor, double the convenience. The same trusted taste you love. Maggie Star double cubes. Made from fermented soya and other selected ingredients for that deep flavor and quality that only Maggie brings to your dishes.
Absolutely delicious.
Get Maggie double cubes today. Me and Maggie, so good together.
ẹ̀ǹlẹ́ o ẹ̀yin èèyàn mi ẹ máa kú ọdún ìròyìn ayọ̀ wọlé dé. Golden Chance Lotto lágbékalẹ̀ wípé káwọn olólùfẹ́ Golden Chance Lotto ó jẹ̀bùn lóríṣiríṣi. bẹ́ẹ̀ ni o nírú àsìkò pọ̀pọ̀ ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ ọdún yìí Golden Chance Lotto kẹrẹ̀ òbítíbitì ẹ̀bùn bẹ́ẹ̀lẹ̀ fún gbogbo ẹ̀yin tó tayọ wá dáadáa bíi electronics foodstuff airtime lórí fóònù owó àtọ̀pọ̀ ẹ̀bùn míì lóríṣiríṣi àǹfààní yìí ó gbọ́dọ̀ fọ́ọ́rù ìwọ́n ti tayọ tó tó 1000 tàbí jù bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ lórí tíkẹ́ẹ̀tì kan fọ́sẹ̀ kan ṣe é lọ́jọ́ kó gbọ́dọ̀ sọnù QR code tó wà lórí tíkẹ́ẹ̀tì ẹ ni ó sọ fún ọ ẹ̀bùn tó jẹ́ tí wọ́n bá ti scan ẹ̀ ta Golden Chance Lotto báyìí kó jẹ̀bùn kó dọ̀gá ládùúgbò ẹ̀.
ẹ lè ta Golden Chance Lotto láwọn ilé ìtajà wa káàkiri.
onígbèdéke títa o ta lọ́pọ̀ kó jọ̀pọ̀ ẹ̀bùn ta jẹ́ gba winnings kó tún gbẹ̀bùn rẹpẹtẹ kájọ ṣe bí ọba àsọpọ̀ àti àsọyéwà o kò sí fọmọ tí ìpọ́dún méjìdínlógún Golden Chance Lotto ọ̀nà tó yá láti di mílíọ̀nìà.
kí ló ṣẹlẹ̀? ó ga o gbogbo ìgbà tí mo bá fi owó ránṣẹ́ tàbí gbowó wọlé fíám wọ́n kàn máa fa oríṣiríṣi owó yọ lọ́wọ́ mi ni owó àláàtì owó ìfowóránṣẹ́ àti owó lórí pé mo san bíìlì pẹ̀lú mo kùn láàánú ènìyàn rárá o.
ṣé o ti gbọ́ pé pẹ̀lú smart cash o lè fi owó ránṣẹ́ sí ilé ìfowópamọ́ mìíràn san gbogbo bíìlì rẹ kó dẹ̀ tún gba àláàtì gbogbo rẹ̀ lọ́fẹ̀ẹ́ kódà wọ́n tún máa san ìdá mẹ́ẹ̀ẹ́dógún owó èlérí fún ẹ lórí owó tí o bá fi pamọ́ lọ́dún.
ṣé lóòótọ́ àwẹ̀ fọ́nà mi báwo ni mo ṣe máa darapọ̀ mọ́ smart cash.
ó yá ká lọ. kàn tẹ *939# tàbí kí o download app smart cash lónìí kí o lè bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ní gbádùn gbogbo ìdúnàdúrà rẹ láì ní owó àfikún kankan. smart cash money matter na sense. smart cash wà látọwọ́ airtel.
Come on.
Rẹ̀ àsìkò idán yẹn tuntun dé o. 32 FM 94.9 fẹ̀yìn ẹ̀ pẹ̀lú àjọṣepọ̀ Ride Ross tó ṣetán láti dẹ́rìn pẹ̀kẹ́ fayọ̀ kúnnú ọkàn yìí. níbi ìmọ́lẹ̀ kérésìmesì yóò ti mọ̀ tàn yànyànyàn nílùú Ìbàdàn. ṣé ẹ ti ṣetán fún baba kérésìmesì ti iléeṣẹ́ 32 FM tọdún 2025 bẹ̀rẹ̀ láti ọjọ́ kìíní oṣù kejìlá títí wọ ọjọ́ kẹrìnlélógún oṣù kejìlá ní Palm Small Ring Road nílùú Ìbàdàn. àwọn ohun ìṣeré lóríṣiríṣi fún àwọn ọmọ yín yóò wà ní ìkàlẹ̀. ẹ tún wá gbọ́ o ọjọ́ mẹ́rìnlélógún gbáko ńlá fi pé ẹ̀bùn gbà béèrè kó o jẹ̀bù kàbìtì yàtọ̀ sí ẹ̀bùn tẹ́ gbé lọlé ijó orin ìdíje ẹ̀fẹ̀ àti ìgbádùn tí kò lẹ́lẹ́gbẹ́ fáwọn ọmọ yín. bàbá kérésìmesì tọdún yìí yàtọ̀ jọ́ torí pé kí ni gbogbo ìgbádùn àti idán yẹn pẹ̀lú ẹgbẹ̀rún méje náírà péré ni 7,000 naira. bẹ́ẹ̀ náà ètò tọwọ́ bọnú àṣẹ́kọ̀ gbẹ̀bù kàǹkà lọ́wọ́ bàbá kérésìmesì lórí afẹ́fẹ́ yóò mọ̀ wáyé láago 4 kọjá ìṣẹ́jú márùndínlógún títí wo aago 5 ìrọ̀lẹ́ láàrin ọ̀sẹ̀ aago 5 àbọ̀ sí aago 6 ìrọ̀lẹ́ lópin ọ̀sẹ̀. ẹ tara ṣàṣà wá máa ra tíkẹ́ẹ̀tì bàbá kérésìmesì fáwọn ọmọ yín ní ìkànnì 32 FM àjàkẹ́rin ilé àwọn àgbẹ̀ Cocoa House ibẹ̀ ni ẹ máa bọ̀ láti ra tíkẹ́ẹ̀tì ṣagbátẹrù tàbí fún ẹ̀kúnrẹ́rẹ́ àlàyé ẹ pè Sùnbọ̀ sórí 0704 017 4981 tàbí Bọ́láńlé sórí 0813 183 2421. bàbá kérésìmesì ilé iṣẹ́ 32 FM tọdún 2025 idán tó jù dán lọ.
Life is a series of decisions, from where to live, who to marry, to even what to eat. As you navigate these choices, we hope you've made the right ones so far. Now, let's talk about making a smart investment decision. Investing with Soft Sands Property, a leading real estate organization in partnership with 32 FM 94.9, could be one of the best choices you'll ever make. With our innovative estates like Orange Estate in Ido, Mango Estate in Akufo, and soon Banana Estate in Omiadio, you have numerous excellent options. Partnering with Soft Sands Property could be the game changer you need. Call or WhatsApp 0911 555 0055 or 0916 461 5000 or visit www.softsandsproperty.com for more information. Soft Sands, created to house the world.
Stay tuned to 32 FM 94.9.
Welcome back. The Podium on 32 FM 94.9. We have Professor 𝐒𝐻𝐿 with us virtually this morning. So, Prof, thank you for staying with us. Before we went on a break, we were talking about the aspects of the law that can deal with this problem. And the Senate on Wednesday moved to tighten anti-kidnapping laws in the country by pushing for death penalty for kidnappers. Anyone who finances, enables, or provides information to them, as the lawmakers moved to amend sections of the 2022 Terrorism Prevention and Prohibition Act. So to what extent do you think that this death penalty proposition and the amendment of the Terrorism Act would curb the recurring heinous acts of kidnapping and terrorism in the country?
On the issue of death penalty has been the only punishment for kidnapping.
Yes.
I'm a little bit wary about that because not every case is the same. There could be cases in which the court might have wanted to apply a more lenient punishment. So I'm not too keen on that sort of thing. We leave a little discretion to the judiciary to apply their knowledge to situations in accordance with what such situations demand.
Right.
So that's as far as that is concerned. What was the second question you raised.
And then for the kidnappers and those who finance, those who enable or provide information to them.
Yes. I mean, all of them should come under the same rubric. They're all the same.
Yeah.
There should be no difference from whether you supply information, whether you finance. The punishment should be the same. There's no difference at all. In fact, the financiers are probably more guilty than those who actually carry it out, because usually they have the higher moral authority over such people. They are richer, they are more educated, they know what they are doing, they are not desperate. The things you can say about the kidnappers themselves, who are less educated, who don't know better perhaps, and who are not sufficiently well endowed to survive without without some help.
Right.
So I think the financiers are even worse. So at the very least, they should suffer the same punishment.
Okay. Let's go to our panelists now. Let me start off with Barrister Ogunla. Barrister?
Yes. Thank you very much. I think what Prof is saying is that there should be a minimum and a maximum punishment for the offense of kidnapping. Well, although some of us are thinking, because right now we're in an abnormal situation, and probably why the Senate sought to providing an abnormal solution too. But let me go quickly to my area of concern, and that is with the re-emergence of Christopher Musa as the defense minister. There are quite a number of conflicting rumors going viral on why he was removed in the first place, because then General Christopher Musa is noted for his anti-terrorism, banditry, and kidnappings. Why would such a man be removed? Could it be that, like Jonathan's government, Bola Ahmed Tinubu's cabinet is also saturated by the wrong people who are giving him the wrong advice? Or should we just take it as just another one of those back and forth policies of this government?
Yeah, Prof?
Yeah, well, I think it was a very big mistake removing General Musa from the position of Chief of Defense Staff. I was shocked when he was removed because most of us regarded him as a shining star in that group. So I was very shocked, and I didn't know that other Nigerians felt the same way until this reappointment, which has brought so much joy to the hearts of Nigerians all over the country. It's difficult to justify that removal because everything he did and said when he was Chief of Defense Staff was in accordance with the fiercest and most determined fight against these terrorists. He made a statement which warmed our hearts. That is when he said that the officers and soldiers did not need to be told if they don't need any command, if they see any terrorist, if they see any kidnapper or any bandit. They should go ahead and take the proper action against them without waiting to be told. I think that was one of the best type of statements that could have emanated from a man in that position, freeing the officers to operate against these people who have devastated the country. For a man like that to have been removed, I mean, it sent shockwaves through all the people I knew, including myself. So it's for us, it's a great joy that he's back in charge in an even higher, in my view, higher position, a more effective position. It looks as if his qualities were later appreciated by the authorities that removed him. So I thank God for that.
All right. Okay, let's go to Professor Ayede now. Professor Ayede. Hello, Prof.
Welcome,
Yes.
Prof. Yeah, welcome, Prof. Before you came, we had this discussion about corruption as a very central element of the security problem. And also, I recall that in 2006, the defense policy identified corruption as a major threat to Nigeria. And you played a very vital role in that area under the Buhari government. Currently, I don't know, it seems as if there's a law in terms of focus and activities around corruption. Recently, when the president traveled out of the country, he made a statement that corruption has been eradicated in Nigeria. Do you think that corruption has reduced significantly? And also, do you think we can do better with the fight against corruption?
Oh, definitely we can do better. But that doesn't mean that the fight is not improving. Okay. I think throughout the time I was in the Presidential Advisory Committee Against Corruption, we provided a lot of services for the anti-corruption agencies, including training in prosecution particularly, and various, and then training in the recovery of stolen money without necessarily going to court, because we found that if you pursue the case against an individual for corruption, that case can go on for 20 years. But if you go after the loot he has stolen, that's much easier. In fact, they don't normally contend with you if you seize the loot, and they are invited to come and defend. They are having that loot in the first place. They don't show up. So we had to train them in that particular procedure, and several other aspects of the anti-corruption struggle. So there was a lot of improvement then under Mabu, and now under YUSUF, who is doing extremely well in the fight against corruption. So yes, there is still corruption, but the fight against corruption is definitely improving.
Right. Okay, I'm happy that Prof made reference to your time in that advisory committee against corruption during the Buhari administration, because a lot was unraveled then. In fact, some of the issues still generate headline up to today, you know, or Koyobona Obla, for instance, you know, and several other cases like that. I'd like you to, you know, tell us, you know, what's your, you know, what your experience was, you know, in that very key committee, because the Buhari administration, it came on board as this anti-corruption government that would clean the country, sanitize the country, you know, and rid the country of corruption, basically. So that was why it was key that he appointed, you know, legal luminary as yourself to head that committee. So tell us what you were able to find out in terms of the impediment, you know, against fighting against corruption in Nigeria. You know, there are those who say there are many forces you have to deal with if you're fighting against corruption. So tell us what your first-hand experience was like and the things you learned that, you know, that if we don't take care of, corruption will end up defeating us in the country.
Yes. I think one area is the judiciary. We had a lot of problems with the judiciary. You can do a lot of excellent work, present your case. If you don't have a judiciary that is determined to support the fight against corruption, everything will collapse at that level. And we saw that happening so many times. It was such a disaster. So I'm not sure what the situation is now, but at that time it was really bad. I don't want to mention specific cases because they are well known, but there are cases in which all the work has been done, prosecution has taken place, but you get conviction at a lower level, and then when it gets to the Supreme Court, particularly at that time, on some technicality or some unusual and strange basis, all that labor of years is reversed. And the suspect or defendant, as we call them now, is restored to the bosom of his relations, usually with all that he has looted. So we had that problem. We have a new head of the judiciary now. I've even had some discussions with her. She seems to be firmer and more determined that the Supreme Court, particularly the judiciary generally, should have a much greater impact in that fight than as was the case before. So I'm encouraged by her positive attitude in that discussion that I had with her.
Right. Okay. So for you, the judiciary is very key, and one of the things that Nigerians also expected at the time, because many people voted the president at the time, late President Buhari, because they had this image of him as an incorruptible leader, a staunch patriot and everything. But how do you feel now hearing about some of this allegation that purportedly happened during his administration from Godwin Emefiele, the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, several cases like Babachi Lawal at some point, there are people who are concerned that why were all these things happening, within the administration of an incorruptible man, someone we knew to be a disciplinarian in the military and all of that. So, I mean, what do you think happened in his administration that the number one key thing he came in to fight ended up, eating deep into the fabric of his government?
Yes, I think age and time. You can't compare, is it 1984?
Yes.
When he first emerged, a young man, I'm not sure he was even 40. He was young, was determined, in fact, very angry, wanted to deal with it. But in his second coming, it's almost 30 years later, he has mellowed, he's aging, and more philosophical. When you are more philosophical, at times it can have negative aspects. Right. In the sense of being more relaxed, not so determined. In fact, whilst I was involved in the fight against corruption, I proposed that he should reintroduce the fight against what do you call it now? What was that fight that he introduced when he was in his first coming?
Why? War against indiscipline? Why?
War against indiscipline.
Yes.
I proposed that he should reintroduce war against indiscipline, so that to rein in all the nonsense that was going on at that time. But that plea fell on deaf ears. So it wasn't quite what it used to be. He, as a person, remained very, very clean. No question about that. Very clean, very disciplined, very honest. But where there was a failing was in now applying those principles in suppressing corruption in the public generally. With the firmness that was associated with him. No, that one had, I won't say collapsed, but it mellowed a lot.
Right.
So it wasn't, yes, so we couldn't achieve what we had hoped to achieve.
Yeah, and to what extent do you think? Yes.
Sorry?
Yeah, to what extent do you think that, because it's one of the arguments I've heard from people, they say, maybe the energy he had at the time was because we were under a military regime. So in a military regime, you could do a decree, you were ruling by fiat, so to speak. But in a democracy, there are several, bottlenecks that you have to navigate. So it becomes more difficult for somebody like him that was used to dashing out orders in the military, to sort of settle in and understand the internal workings of a democracy. Would you say that was also a factor as well?
That is contributory. There's no question about it. But that, if he still had that energy and that fierce determination that he had, would have achieved more. There's no question about that. Would have achieved more. There are certain things I cannot say in public, which could have been done in various spheres. People could have been sacked. And certain steps could have been taken, which were not taken, and it allowed people who had propensity for corruption and misbehavior to continue like that, unabated.
I understand that Prof doesn't want to divulge some information, given how sensitive they are. I can imagine the kind of information you'd have had access to at the time you were in that committee. Let's see if we can get reactions from the listeners. You can call 0705 5000 949, 009 7000 949, 0906 2000 949. Our guest this morning is Professor Ghekh. He's a legal luminary. He also served as the Presidential Advisory Committee Against Corruption during the Buhari administration. You can drop your comment on Facebook, 32FM 949. Let me go to panelists now. Barrister?
Yes, thank you very much. My noble prof, the rating of government in recent time has become abysmally low, given some avoidable errors that have characterized particularly this government. For instance, a review of Mr. President's prerogative of mercy by the Attorney General of the Federation in complete contradiction of the Constitution. Now, we have controversy trailing the list of ambassadorial nominees, with some saying that perhaps the president did not have enough consultation and did not respect the core values of the land. What is your view, sir?
Okay, I think I'm a bit less critical in this regard. I feel Nigerians are too impatient in criticizing certain steps taken by government. You cannot say because somebody has criticized this government in the past is necessarily unfit to represent it. If the person either has changed his mind or is ready to serve in spite of his former criticisms, they must have some latent qualities which the government saw in them, to appoint them in spite of their past relationship. I think that Nigerians are a little bit too impatient, too ready to pounce on any issue without proper reflection. Other names have been mentioned. I don't want to mention publicly, but certain things which you regard as being negative attributes in public behavior could be attributes in diplomatic conduct. So we have to be very careful in making all these criticisms. I thought there was too much to the way Nigerians, everybody wanted to descend into the arena to criticize and point this out and point that out. At the end of the day, nobody would have been fit to even be an ambassador. I think that was too much.
Okay.
Give the government a break. They will be interviewed in Senate if Senate does its job, and their weaknesses will be exposed. And if that is too much in any particular case, then they will not get approval.
Maybe, Prof, maybe people are reacting this way because we're at a critical time diplomatically. You know, the U.S. is breathing on our neck with the designation of Nigeria as a country of particular concern. Maybe they're looking at, we have not appointed ambassadors in the last 2 years, that those who will make that list are those who are going to have the experience, those who have that, background in terms of talking to the U.S., engaging with Trump, based on how Trump has been in the international system. Maybe that is what is triggering this kind of reaction that we're seeing, that they expected a lot more from the president when this list was released.
Yes, you may be right, but, I agree that we have to really tread very carefully when deciding who to appoint to the United States.
Yes.
There's no question about it. But there are enough people in I think how many altogether now? About 50 or so, or slightly more, that have been appointed. They will get somebody of quality there, or of this character and quality that can handle the delicate American situation. They will get.
Yes. Okay. Let's go to Prof now. Prof?
Yes. I think Prof has pointed the significance and the importance of the judiciary. And lately, there has been a lot of question mark on the integrity of the judiciary, and this relates in two directions. The first has been the quality of judgments that have been dished out, even up to the Supreme Court level. There are suspicion that some of those judgments, because they contradict earlier judgments, tends to suggest some kind of inconsistency that give the impression that the upper echelon of judiciary has become, especially the bench, has become more politically influenced than previously. The second one has to do with the recruitment of judges. People see how family connection has become very important in terms of access to the bench. What is his opinion about this, and what does he think about legal education in Nigeria?
Right, Prof?
Yeah. Hello?
Yes. Did you get the question, sir?
Sorry, a call came in which I had to stop.
Oh, okay. Prof, can you quickly relay the question to him?
Yes, I was restating the concern about the bench, especially the judiciary, in terms of the quality of judgments that gives the impression that the judges, especially up to the Supreme Court level, are becoming politically influenced. And then I also talked about the role of family connections in the appointment of judges. And I was asking how this has eroded confidence in the judicial system, and what is your opinion about that? And I also added the question of legal education. I think it also has something to do with the culture of the bench.
Right.
I agree with you entirely on the issue of appointment to the bench. When only relations, children, in-laws of judges, high-level judges, were being appointed into the judiciary. I mean, it became a very scandalous situation. I believe that some changes are being made to the process now in order to fight that disease that ate into the system. There's no question about that. And also, as we have all noted, the judiciary, particularly at the apex level, at the Supreme Court, let us down so many times. I mean, we recall, just to mention a case, the case of the president of Senate, who contested the presidential nomination, and by law, that disqualified him from further contesting as a senator. But the Supreme Court found a technical way around that disqualification. The same thing happened to even the former Senate president. I've forgotten his name now, from Yobe State.
Ahmed Lawan.
Same thing. Ahmed Lawan. The same thing. He was disqualified because he contested for the presidency. But the Supreme Court found a way around it, which was clearly against the law. It was clearly a breach of the existing law to allow him to recontest in Senate. Someone became a placeholder for him, which was not allowed under the existing law. So that all those issues are issues of the failure of the judiciary to maintain its principles and its integrity,
right?
Which are very concerning. There's no question about that.
Right. All right. Thank you so much, Professor Itersage. We have to go now. Unfortunately, our time is short. We wish we had you a lot earlier on the show, because there's a lot to unpack and learn from you, sir. But thank you so much for being a part of the show. Barrister, Prof, final thoughts and comment as we let Professor Itersage go this morning.
My noble Prof, sir. There is something we do here.
Okay.
We try to make you laugh as a therapy for the times. I hope you are ready to laugh now, sir.
I'm already laughing.
Okay, sir. Are you still able to play golf?
I never played golf before.
So which one do you do for exercise, sir?
Now, I just use my treadmill. That's my main source of exercise now.
Right. Thank you so much. So good to have you, sir. Thank you, Professor Itersage. Thank you, Professor Ayede. Thank you, Barrister. Thank you to my producer, Bulabo Famous Cole. Thank you, dear listener, for being a part of the podium. It returns 9 a.m. next Saturday. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. My name is OLORUNTOBA YUSUF. Bye for now.